Let's take you back to KwaZulu-Natal, where Acting Police Minister Firoz Cachalia is addressing the media.
I think so. I mentioned, first of all, I got a report from General Mkhwanazi on the crime stats in KwaZulu-Natal. As I indicated, that reflects the national picture. The national picture is one, we should be recognizing that we have high levels of crime in this country. But over the last year, there has been a significant reduction, and I'm satisfied that the stats are accurate. A few days ago, Minister Creasy discussed in public the road safety pattern as well. And there too we've seen a significant reduction and of course improvement. So we've discussed what we can attribute this to. I think the high visibility operations that we've seen being implemented, as well as the enhanced recruitment over the country as a whole, it's in excess of 5,000, which has helped us improve visibility and so on. We're seeing the fruits of that. As I said, I also think, and I've had to form an assessment since my appointment, that there are significant capabilities at leadership level, capabilities of leadership, the ability to formulate targeted plans, to execute those plans. And so, that's what we're seeing over the last year is the result of, is evidence of those underlying capabilities in the South African Police Service.
Minister Nhlanhla from Newsroom Africa, you made mention of the Nhlanhla Commission of Inquiry and some of the discussions that are taking place there. Are you at all concerned that whatever has been revealed there, in particular we've heard about internal squabbles within the upper echelons of the South African Police Service, whether or not that has had an impact on operations such as this one and their effectiveness?
Actually, I don't think so. I think that so I have been concerned that some of the evidence that has been led in the commission, some of it untested as yet, but there's already been the commission has obviously already come to some preliminary conclusions. There's an interim report. The evidence that has been led does suggest a pattern that is worrying, and I've been concerned that the rank and file police officer watching television, listening to this evidence that is being led, that's going to have an impact on their morale, okay? Which is one reason why I spoke about this matter today. I want the public to understand that the South African Police Service is not in a crisis. I want the members of the South African Police Service, the rank and file, to understand that we have a lot of work to do. We have a lot that is wrong that we have to put right. We have to map a reform agenda for the next decades to come. But at the same time, the South African Police Service is a functioning organization. It is carrying out its primary mandate to improve safety and security across the country. So that's my message, to the rank and file. Do your work. Carry on doing the work that you're doing. Try harder. Do your work. Act ethically. Act professionally. I think that the leadership in place, some of whom are here, are carrying out their responsibilities. So we're not just listening to all the noise. We have a job to do, and that's what we're focused on.
Have you spoken to the President about the interim report?
Not yet.
Minister, Thank you so much. My name is Mkhwanazi. I work for SABC TV News.
Hi, Sipo.
The issue of gun violence, Minister, and I'm linking this to the recent mass shooting which we saw in Pakistan a few days ago. How much of a concern is it for police, going into this festive season?
It's definitely one of the primary challenges. I have to say, when you see these mass killings, this kind of slaughtering that goes on in a tavern, the second in 2 weeks in Gauteng, it's very alarming. At this point, I don't think we have absolute clarity about the reasons and the causes. Why does somebody go into a tavern and slaughter the people who are there? So in time we will get, as the investigations continue, we will get a clearer picture. Some reports have been shared with me by the police leadership, which I think would not be right for me to kind of speculate on or to discuss for the time being in public, but because there are ongoing investigations. One message, but they don't need to hear that from me, that I have consistently conveyed to the police management, and I want also to convey publicly, is that we have to get control over the issue of gun violence. There are too many guns in this country. That's self-evidently the case. We've seen it in the gang violence. We have seen it with illegal mining. Yesterday, we again had reports from ordinary community members about their experiences. A young woman telling us that her 8-year-old was shot dead in her arms. A police officer whose husband was shot dead. So I think that's one of the main challenges faced by this country. It might be that we've got to toughen the gun laws. There may be regulatory solutions. There are awareness campaigns. There are the policing operations that take place to locate these guns and to destroy them. But obviously, the problem is continuing. So it has to be a focus going forward.
Minister, just another question from me. You come into a position or into a portfolio that really almost an entire commission is centered around, from your predecessor that is, around the issue of interference. So you walk into this role already with faced with the situation, that kind of background. So just a few questions around this. How do you navigate that space so that there isn't a repeat of what essentially led to the formation of this of the commission? So how have you been treading that area? And secondly, as a result of that, knowing the background, do you ever find yourself perhaps with your hands tied in terms of what you can do and what you can't do? Maybe if you were in this position at a different time, you might have felt more empowered to do certain things. So how do you navigate that? And just, if you allow me...
Let me take that question.
That is the last question.
So,
I said 5, that's 4.
I have made it very clear from the very beginning, among my earliest statements, that we should be thinking about the Nhlanhla Commission as an opportunity. Had we not had statements that were made in public that required the president to act, the president had not acted, then the information that we need in order to understand the depth of the problem and what a reset agenda should look like, that information would not have been available. The Commission is going to help with the reset process. So one of the issues that, for instance, I'm quite sure that the Commission will focus on is how should the relationship between the person who exercises executive authority and those who run the police service, who manage the police service from the National Commissioner downwards, what should that relation, how can that be a productive relationship? So presumably they will make some recommendations in that regard. They will probably make recommendations on crime intelligence. Clearly, if we're going to deal with organized crime more effectively, and that's something that really does keep me up at night, then we've got to strengthen crime intelligence. I mean, General Mkhwanazi just reported to me that there are some vacancies in crime intelligence in this province. That makes the job much more difficult for him. Now, I think so I see the commission as an opportunity. I've said repeatedly, this is the way democratic societies self-correct. We don't put things under the carpet. We tell ourselves the truth, and then we move forward. So I'm really looking forward to the outcomes of the Nhlanhla Commission. The Nhlanhla Commission will cast a light on the dark places, as it should. Those people who have been responsible for infiltration, for corrupting the police service, for misusing political authority, for me, that is the big issue. Those people must be held to account. It's as simple as that. We need people who exercise executive authority, people who are appointed as ministers, to do that job, not any other job, not to associate with criminals, not to spend their leisure time with criminals, not to do deals with criminals when it comes to procurement. We want to make sure that if the police service enters into a contract that is aimed at promoting the well-being of our officers, that we contract with the right people to carry out that important responsibility. Instead, what happened is Mr. Nhlanhla got a contract. He's now in jail. That shows that our country is also on an accountability path. So I have got I think the President exercised some wisdom, some bold leadership in appointing Nhlanhla, and when he did so, there were a lot of critics. You don't hear the critics right now because they can see the value of this process.
Will you be writing any letters on the 31st of December?
No, I will not be working on the 31st of December. Be taking a bit of a break.
Okay,
Good.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Minister is to go.
Okay. Thank you.
We can take more questions at the roadblock.
Right, Acting Police Minister Firoz Cachalia there answering questions from the media as he conducts his festive season operations oversight in KwaZulu-Natal. Talking right there at the end about questions around the Nhlanhla Commission. He did mention them in his official address, saying that it should be thought of as an opportunity, as he's been concerned about some of the evidence led by what has come out of there, saying that it's untested, yet the Commission has already put out a preliminary report which should detail more answers. And he says the evidence led is suggesting a worrying pattern, and he's been concerned that it will impact officers on the ground in terms of morale. And he wants to emphasize that the SAPS is not in a crisis. A lot is wrong that could be put in the right, and talking about a reset agenda which will paint a picture of the South African police service for decades to come. And of course, touching a little bit on the Beckersdale tragedy where 10 people have since been killed, saying that it's alarming and no absolute clarity on the reasons why as investigations continue. And he says that reports have been shared with him to paint a bigger picture, which he cannot speak about as yet. But the message really saying that what is clear is that police need to get a greater control on the issue of gun violence.